The Snoring and Sleep Apnea Journey, Part 2. I had my last night of snoring. Meaning, I have never snored again. And those dreadful episodes of sleep apnea were also gone. But then the disappointment hit. Since I know how embarrassing snoring is, and how great a toll it takes on relationships, I started preaching the exercises to literally everyone. Like a crazy person, I asked strangers if they had problems with snoring. And if they did, I insisted on teaching them the exercises I had been using. It's not, however, so far-fetched to ask strangers about their snoring problem. Why? Because snoring is one of the most common reasons for couples fighting. Here are some scary numbers about snoring. 30% of women and 50% of men snore. Nearly 1/3 of those who snore also suffer sleep apnea, a potentially deadly condition, and often without knowing it. Snoring and sleep apnea limit your breathing and, therefore, the amount of oxygen you take in during the night. This often leads to fatal conditions such as stroke or heart attack, type 2 diabetes, Alzheimer's and other dementia, fatigue and tiredness during the day. Plus, sleep apnea is also the leading cause of obesity. And unbelievably, snoring can even lead to hearing loss of both the snorer and their partner, due to the loud noise throughout the night. But to snore is not the most dangerous thing. About 50% of people have a partner who snores. This means that snoring affects almost everyone in one way or another. And having someone keep you up every night with their loud snoring, is even more serious than snoring yourself. Lack of good quality sleep causes many of the same symptoms as snoring does, but much more drastically. It leads to even deadlier conditions such as high blood pressure, heart attack and stroke, fatigue and tiredness, dementia and other memory loss, obesity, and early death. Plus, it causes you to underperform like a zombie throughout the day. Over 100,000 car and home accidents every year are blamed on sleep deprivation. Thousands of people die every year because their partner kept them up with their snoring. But most seriously, it robs you of the joy of life, because you're just not yourself. People make jokes about snoring. But you see, snoring is not any laughing matter. It's not some annoyance that can be brushed under the carpet. If you snore, or your partner snores, you're putting each other in a life-threatening situation. You may possibly be causing each other an early death. That's why I was so fanatical about sharing the snoring solution I found with everyone. But unfortunately, the simple voice exercises didn't help everyone. Just like nasal sprays and jaw straps only work for specific types of snoring, so seemed to be the case with simple voice exercises, so I went on a mission to find a solution that helps everyone's snoring and sleep apnea. I was in an ideal position to work this out, since I had been studying snoring for years. I changed the exercises to focus on particular problem areas. I found out exactly what worked and what didn't work, when it comes to opening up the throat, and removing other blocks that cause people to snore. And I also discovered ways to do the voice exercises, without having to make a single tone. So, don't worry if you don't like to sing, the exercises are completely silent. Since I had spoken about this with so many people, I had literally hundreds of people, who were willing to test my new exercises for me. They gave me feedback on what worked, for their particular type of snoring. I then used that to improve those exercises, and identify different problem areas. What's more, I discovered 5 types of snoring, and how to diagnose and treat each. You see, snoring is always caused by something partly blocking, and narrowing your breathing passages, throat, nasal passages, mouth. Then, the soft tissues in your breathing passages flap in the airflow, like trash blowing down tidal lays, making the loud noise. But what blocks the breathing passages differs from person to person. So, here are the 5 things that block the airflow, causing the 5 types of snoring. You may have more than one of these types. Throat clamping down, often associated with sleep apnea. Tongue falling into the throat while sleeping. Narrow nasal passages, or congestion, blocking the airflow. Tension in the jaw narrowing the air passages, more common than you'd think. The soft palate is too weak or unusually big. This is one of the most common diagnoses for completely unnecessary snoring surgeries. Stay tuned for the snoring and sleep apnea journey, Part 3.